Bank assurance is the beneficial partnership between insurer and the bank when they all can benefit from that. For bank, it is the second role because they have their own products, new products like insurance products, and for insurer that they can broaden their customer reach without expanding their sales team. However, in the past years, these efforts often fell short. So in the era of fintechs and insurtech, what is the future of bank assurance, and has the landscape shifted enough to make a comeback? My name is Alicja Kozłowska, and I'm pleased to host a GFT webinar called How Insurtech Will Affect the Sector, the Future of Bank Assurance in Poland. I'm hosting insurance experts today, Martin and Todi. Guys, can you tell some more about your company and your role in it?
Of course. So I'm Marcin Myszkowski. I am working in GFT Poland as a financial service industry offering lead, which means that I'm responsible what GFT is offering to the market, of course, for the financial customers. For those who not know GFT is a IT consultant company. We are supporting our customer all over the world. We have like 10,000 people globally, 1,500 in Poland, and we mainly focus on technology consulting, supporting our customers.
And I am Todi. Thanks for having me. I'm running the customer operations team in Central Eastern Europe for fintech OS, a company that just celebrated 6 years of existence. A company that aims to create a new product category called fintech enablement platforms that will make it easier for financial services like banks and insurers to act like fintechs and to create new customer experiences to deliver new personalized products to the market. And I'm here with you today as we truly share that enthusiasm on helping our customers to innovate in this space and capitalize on the embedded finance phenomenon that's happening.
Guys, before we move to business and technology, I would like to ask you, what kind of insurance customer are you? So what products do you buy, or maybe what do you consider most important when you buy them?
Why don't you start, Martin?
Okay, so what type of customer am I? For me, the most important is how insurer company will act if anything will happen. I mean, of course, the price is important at the beginning. So once I'm doing some market research, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is how the company will behave when anything happens and I will need some help. It's difficult to measure that before you buy an insurance. So typically I'm buying insurance through my insurance agent. So this is some lady which we know for years, and she insure all my family. So I insure my home, I insure my car, of course, and only one insurance which my behavior is a little bit different is a travel insurance, which I'm buying through the digital channels because it's just easier. However, for example, during COVID-19, it was quite difficult because a lot of different countries required different conditions of the insurance. So you need to have a proof that your insurance will cover the treatment of COVID-19. So in that case, I still was talking and buying through my insurance agent. Yeah, so that's me.
Interesting stories. Well, in my home, in our home, we're splitting responsibilities. Just like you, I love my broker. We have a long-standing relationship. This person knows what are my preferences, notifies me on time when a renewal has to be managed, comes with best prices that I'm always looking for. So I cannot imagine for the foreseeable future working with a different person for insuring against home, car, and so on. There are protection products that I go and consume through the bank just because they are associated with the products that I'm consuming from my the bank that I'm working with. But I would say even more importantly, I try to avoid as much as possible risks. So I try to have a prevention in our home. So we have a responsible lifestyle, and we just don't take necessarily insurance as the first way to go to protect ourselves, but rather to implement prevention. And my wife, since she's planning all of the vacations, she is the one taking care of those travel insurance that we absolutely have with any single occasion when we go in vacations. So this is who we are.
So the awareness of having protection is more and more visible in society. I would like to stay with the team of customers, and I would like to mention also what you have said, that we have a lot of channels. So the digital distribution, traditional one. Do people stay with traditional one, and why is that? Why we have such situation if we have these digital easier channels?
So I believe me and Toddy are typical customers because researchers are showing similar results. So more than the half people in Poland is buying insurance through the broker, not non-digital. And the reason why it's like that, it's interesting because on the other hand, in terms of mobile banking, it's like 21 million people who are using their mobile banking app once a week. So this is active users of their mobile banking. However, the situation is a little bit different in banking because there's a lot of scenarios where customers need to interact with the bank and bank need to interact with the customer. In terms of insurance, it's a bit different because customers buying insurance once or twice a year. So during that period, if everything is fine, there's no interaction at all. It's just not needed. So there's, no need for the customer to contact with the insurance company during that time. So I would say that this is the overview of the customer market in Poland. So the question is how it's in Europe. Yeah.
Well, certainly there are market segments that have a tradition. Yeah, they went after convenient channels like the indirect ones, the brokers. And both me and you share that experience. How about my kids? They will not have that history. They will not have that background. For them, acquiring an insurance product, it will be probably just as ambiental as watching TikTok. And for sure, that would be a new era. And there will be many scenarios in the middle. I love the relationship with my broker, but what if next time my car provider will just provide me on the spot an insurance product that I'll simply just cannot refuse? So I would say existing channels, the indirect ones, I think they will have a constant, not necessarily pressure, but need to reinvent, to make it even more convenient, even more familiar for customers to go that path. Whereas with that embedded insurance, embedded finance phenomenon that's happening, we would expect to see more touch points, some touch points that we did not even thought about it up until now, to make it so much easier to consume insurance services from that type of experience.
Yeah, also one comment. This is why the omnichannel in insurance is so important. Because in bank, the whole scenario can be done through the mobile app or using the desktop application. In insurance, it could be a little bit different because you can, as a customer, be attracted at different places, different channels. And now, close the sale will happen with the broker, but with the time, probably, exactly as you described, it will be different, yeah? So it's even more important than in the banks.
What is the current situation of bank assurance in Poland?
That's a very good question. We can think about all new technologies which are currently hitting the market, I mean DLT, blockchain, AI, machine learning, and any different buzzwords we have. And when you imagine how this technology can support companies, insurtech and fintechs, but also the big insurer companies, there's a lot of new use cases which appear on the market. I mean, having all those data which right now are available for them, I can imagine the insurance which will switch on and off automatically. For example, travel insurance. So once you're abroad, the travel insurance is just switch on because the mobile application just know that you are abroad.
So some kind of subscription model.
Yes, some kind of subscription model which just give you a product once you need it, but that in the meantime it's just switch off and you do not pay for that. For example, another example is similar but not travel, but for example running or riding a bike. So I can imagine that for those people who are doing a lot of fitness stuff, they can have an extra insurance for that. So you can pay for only the kilometers which you run or ride only. So I believe there is a lot of different use cases which will appear on the market. We'll see.
I would say the time for accepted or leave it type of insurance product, so highly standardized, that period will still stay for some time, but it's going to be the customer expectation and customer demand that will change the dynamic. On the other side, financial organizations really can benefit from these technology megatrends. I mean, it is easier now to capitalize on your data as a bank and to be able to do better customer profiling, introduce location-based, profession-based, time-based type of subscription, insurance subscriptions. And that enables new business models, new risk models that these financial institutions did not take into consideration. And they are forced not just by the customer expectation, but also by the competition. You just see the advent of new financial technology players, the fintechs and insurtechs that simply introduce a new way to do that. So it's quite a nice topic. I think for our benefit, we should think about pragmatic use cases, not ideological or theoretical ones. And I would say the opportunity ahead is for organizations like banks, like insurers, to approach underserved areas like bancassurance a bit more pragmatically, more connected to business goals that they have, and more taking into consideration the data capital and customer capital that they have.
But bancassurance isn't a recent concept, so in the past it didn't gain much traction. What do you believe might be a reason for that?
Well, again, I think it depends. I know of insurers that have probably 80% or more of their business outcomes as a result of a partnership with a bank or fewer banks. So there are organizations that thought about this area very strategically. But you can also say, just judging on what type of offers you get from your bank on an everyday usage, that there's still a lot to go. That accepted or leave it type of highly standardized product that you would still expect to see more convenient, more personalized, and so on. So I think it's a matter of, first of all, banks looking a bit more strategically, how they can grow this channel in a highly profitable way, highly productive way for their employees and for their business partners, and how end customers, consumers or businesses to consider that channel as being a super viable one.
Marcin, but what is the current situation of bancassurance in Poland? You probably have some thoughts about that.
Yes, of course. So banks have insurance offers for the customer for years. I agree that the traction was not very good, but the reason for that is the technology itself. So in the past, it was difficult to exchange a lot of data, to have the personalized offer for the customer. User experience of that solution wasn't very good and smoothless. So Right now, it's much more easy to offer through the banks the insurance for the customers. And banks know that. So like top 5 biggest bank in Poland has bancassurance in their strategy. So they believe that now it will be easier, and insurance is quite important part of the market. So it wouldn't be very clever to not be there. Yeah. So this is one thing. Another thing is that the customer are expecting more and more from the banks, but also from the insurance companies. So even if most sales is done by the brokers, customers are familiar with all the apps, as we mentioned. So they're expecting to have easy access to the insurance also from the mobile. So it's not about the insurance company only, but how to buy the insurance through the mobile banking app, because banks are a trusted company, and having everything in one app could be very, very useful for the customers. And in Poland, we had a research as a GFT, which is Banking Disruption Index. We asked people about value-added services and if this is important for the customer, if not, and are you willing to pay for that? And surprisingly, more than the half of people told us that they are willing to pay for additional services if they will see a value in that. And insurance is the most common value-added services in banks. So that's the good summary from my perspective, that both parties, I mean customers and the banks, see opportunity in having insurance in banks. So probably this is the best moment to hit the market. Yeah.
And what research says about the situation in Poland? Like, do we have growth, or this is like stagnation? What is the start point?
I see. So Poland is the biggest insurance market in Central Europe. However, having that in mind, we also know that typically the Western countries, our society spends like 7.4% of GDP for insurance, while in Poland it's around 3%. So there is quite a big gap which on the market which can be addressed by the bancassurance. Yeah.
Okay, so if we have such a gap, and we have also these areas to further digitalize, how we can combine that to achieve growth?
Let's just take a couple of hypotheses. Data. One way is to, as a bank, is to have data, and it's a different thing to actually make use of that data in the context of introducing new products and services. So there are offers in the marketplace, like fintech ways, that allow you to make use of the data about your customers and the data coming from your ecosystem as a bank, to make sure that you are coming with personalized offers in place. Moreover, think about generative AI and implications on making use of AI to introduce new business models and to introduce new types of products and new types of customer journeys for your customers. Secondly, think about, Marcin was mentioning this. There are still many highly manual or cumbersome processes that affect, the underwriting, that affect the customer experience. Now, with the data that you have, with the new business rules, the new risk models that you can take into consideration, you can actually think about streamlined underwriting, or why not automated underwriting processes that will significantly impact the customer experience, the response time, the experience of selling or the experience of servicing insurance products. And then think about what's specific about bancassurance is that there are, apart from the end customer, two main actors, the bank and the insurer. There are still many Excel files flying over email, from a bank to insurer and vice versa, saying this is the status, this is what we sold today, this is the price that we are going to use in the next month. If you think about it, it's 2023, and there should be more productive ways, more collaborative ways for these actors to have the same version of the truth, to sit on the same data, to be able to streamline these collaboration processes and make it easier in terms of reporting, make it easier in terms of timely offers that you want to introduce in the market. So you see, we're not talking about very sophisticated things to improve the status quo, to enhance what we see now. It's just that we feel like there's a moment in the marketplace when more of these actors are thinking more strategically about this, because it in many ways is the next logical purchase for an end customer, and you want to make that customer experience working at its best, and having resources allocated, having focus on those new business models, it just makes it easier with the help of technologies like fintech OS and so on to make it easier for those banks and insurers to collaborate.
Todi, you touched the very important thing. It's about creating new back office solutions and maybe taking care of these traditional channels in a different way, more digital way. So taking care about the agents, maybe. Maybe you can say something about that.
Yes, so in insurance industry, this is even more important than in the others, because we have a lot of different customer behaviors. So having bancassurance, we have digitalized customers, mobile customers. However, there's a lot of people who are not using digital at all. So they just have this trusted broker. They want to speak with that person. They just believe that the offer which they gain from this person will be good, and they believe this is the best offer, so they will just buy it. Yeah. And even if we talk about the bank assurance, you can imagine that the customer will just go to the bank branch and will try to discuss this offer, because there's a lot of different conditions of insurance. So it's easy product. However, you have the long PDF file with all conditions, which is not easy one. And technology can support not only customer into that, but also the brokers, also the people who are talking with the customers. And it doesn't matter if it's telemarketing or it's just a person in branch or multi-agencies brokers. Yeah. So this is super important to give that people tool which allow them to explain the offer, to show them comparison of the offer in a way which allow the customer to understand the real difference, not only the price. Yeah. So from my perspective, this omnichannel and this back office will be super important. And as Todi mentioned, it's not about the super technology, some fireworks. It's about theoretically simple thing. However, most big companies, banks, insurance company, has difficulties with that, because you have the old technology. You need to integrate all those systems. I mean, in-house, also the external systems, brokers, agencies, some legal parties engaged in the whole process. So we can talk about exciting new products, but at the end of the day, to be there for a few years or a few months, you need to do the job with your technology, with your data. You need to make sure that everything will work well, because this is the most important.
I believe that we are in this technology stage from several years. So why do you think it will work from now?
I think we talked a lot about this today. So, I mean, new technology, easier way to communicate between the banks, insurer company, and also support the customers. So, I mean that the society is digitalized in Poland. So this is a good moment to offer also non-banking products or services through the banks to the customers. The client base is quite huge also, because only mobile clients, again, it's like 21 million of people. So in the country where we have 40 million, it's quite a lot. And the technology and data allows now to show the more personalized offer for the customers. So that's the main reason from my perspective why I believe that's a good moment. Yeah.
Let me build on that. So if I am a bank, I invested quite heavily in the past years on my channels, my super apps, or my SME channels. I do have the consultants either in the back office or in the branches. So effectively, the distribution is there. Okay, what we see, and we are working together in a couple of joint customer initiatives, and we see the customer requirements coming. There's an expectation of modernizing their core system. Many systems serving the bancassurance business in the past just simply not keeping up with their times. And customers looking either to modernize around or to replace existing systems. Then it's the self-service part, which is an expectation from the business owner, from the product owner. Of course, there will be a partnership with the IT department or with the technology teams, but there's an expectation that I, as a product owner, can be super empowered to introduce a new product in a timely fashion. And guess what? 10 years ago, it was a bit harder to do that. Today, you can select from category providers like us, like others in the industry that make it easier. First, to connect to the data, modernize systems, and make it more self-service for product owners, for people in the back office, and for the customers. So that's something in terms of speed and modernization, that's something that is expected to contribute to the growth of bancassurance, not just in Poland, but across. Secondly, it is about the innovation in the product space. We do think about today, when we talk about bancassurance, about, bundling some sort of property insurance or some life insurance when you buy a mortgage. But if you think about it as a potential, is huge. I'm a student, I'm applying for a loan with my bank, and I also want to have some sort of protection. And why not bundling with some Amazon service at some point that will make it easier for my studies? Or I'm a doctor and I simply want to apply for a new type of profession-based insurance that I did not have before from my bank. So the distribution is there, but I think what many institutions are going to realize or are realizing already is that they need better products, engines to power up those distribution channels. And I see certainly this is an area where organizations are investing.
Yeah, I fully agree. And value-added services is a really good place to expand that trend, because once in banks, you can buy a parking ticket, so you can pay for the parking. You can also offer the customer the insurance for the car for the time of being parked somewhere, yeah? So this is just an example, but the cases like that, I believe there will be just more and more with the time. So I totally agree that this is a good moment. And one more thing is that banks in Poland are becoming more open for the technology vendors, like you, for example. Some time ago, every bank was trying to do everything in-house because it was also the know-how of the bank, and they believed that the value of the bank will be better because you have your own solution. But right now, in the era of fintechs, insurtech, they just realized that it's not possible. You are not able to be as modern and as innovative as a lot of different companies on the market. So it's just easier to collaborate. Yeah.
We have already discussed how insurtech and fintechs already tremendously changed their technology, their products. So I think that two questions remains maybe interesting for our viewers. How does it make sense to integrate third-party solutions for a bank, and how fintech OS and GFT can address that?
Very good questions. Let me start with the first one. I certainly see that banks are becoming more like control towers in their ecosystem, monetizing new touch points, either their own channels or partner channels. And that's that's certainly a reality. You could see established institutions, systemic banks here acting already like control towers, making sure that there's channels, the super apps, the digital channels work fine. That's priority number 0, I guess. But making sure that they meet the customer at the point of sale, they meet the customer on a retail experience and so on. That I guess is also super important. And acting in such a way also enables you to think about differently about the products and services that you have. So becoming a bit more generalist and introducing, insurance might be a first step, but who knows what else will come next. So that would be my take on your first question. How about you, Martin?
So again, we talked a little bit about that. So value-added services, why? The simplest reason is just the money. I mean, it could be a very good new revenue stream for the banks. This is why most of them has its own insurance product in their strategy combined with insurance companies. So they want to have a quite good and strong offer for the customers. And the simplest reason in business is always money. So I would say it's money, especially if Polish society is willing to pay for that. So we know that there is a lot of place to grow. We know that customers are willing to pay for that. And we know that the banks are willing to do that. So I would say the reason why they want to do is just a combination of these 3 things, the 3 factors. In terms of your second question, how we can support the companies, as a GFT, we have a strong background and experience with integrating a lot of different vendors, parties with the banks. We even set up a few banks in Asia, and building a new bank is right now just integrate a lot of different components which give you some solution for, onboarding, for security, for the cloud and stuff like that. So you can just take all these parts, integrate and set up a new bank. So in terms of an insurance and bancassurance, it could be similar. So you can use a different solution to create a tailored solution for you as a bank. So I believe we are a good partner to do that. And together with Toddy and Fintech House, I believe this is everything. I mean, together we can offer quite good solution for the banks.
All right. Well, my perspective here is we aspire to become a global technology company, and you can do that serving your customers in Poland by yourself, but you can also do it in partnerships. And we enjoy very much the partnership that we do have with you, and the partnership that we aim at growing, building on those complementary aspects that you mentioned. Focusing a bit more on our offering, talking about bundling products and services, talking about data connectivity is many times easier said than done. We want to make it easier done than said. So this is what we do. We focus on creating a product that makes it easier for scenarios like bancassurance, for banks and insurers to work together and to serve their customers. And then making sure that promise is delivered, it's something that you and us collaborate, working with customers, understanding their pain points, and then making sure that we have a viable solution. So Poland is one of the markets where we focus, and there are other markets in Europe and APAC where we do aim to grow our partnership.
I think we touched a lot of points interesting for our viewers. So we talked about current situation of bancassurance in Poland, the future of products, customers and their needs. And we also had a discussion about solutions and scenarios for its development. So I think it's time for conclusion. I would like to ask you, what would you like to leave our viewers with? Maybe key messages.
Okay, so the most important takeaways from that webinar is that the bancassurance market will grow. Fintech and insurtech will just speed it up, and new technology, which they will be using. And the customer really want to have the digital experience everywhere. So insurance should also be available to give it to the customer. And the last one, maybe the most important for us, that we can help with that as a GFT and feeder house.
That's correct. I mean, I just want I fully support your statements, Marcin. All of the data points, research, conversations we have with customers, that they simply say that there will be investments in this area, there will be growth. And, we learned a lot in the past few years from all of these embedded insurtech, embedded finance examples. Bancassurance is a prime example of that. We just think that established financial institutions, the systemic banks, the emerging banks, the emerging insurers that we work with, they do have the appetite to invest in this space. They'll just do it.
Todi, Marcin, I would like to thank you for this interesting discussion today. For our viewers, I encourage you to scan QR code with our joint proposal. Thank you for watching and see you in the next GFT webinar.